NBC7's Nightly Check-In is sponsored by Bill Howe Plumbing, Heating and Air, Flood and Restoration.
We know how.
A historic pick for his vice presidential candidate Joe Biden energizes his ticket by picking California Senator Kamala Harris as his running mate in November. It's a choice breaking all sorts of barriers. Thanks for joining us for the Nightly Check-In. I'm Mari Payton. California Senator Kamala Harris, once viewed as a presidential frontrunner in this race, now on the ticket as former Vice President Joe Biden's running mate. If elected, the 55-year-old lawmaker would make history as the nation's first female, first black, and first Asian American vice president. She's the first Californian on a major party's presidential ticket since Ronald Reagan. Today, we spoke to political experts about how Harris can unite progressives.
I think she will energize a new generation of individuals and young people that perhaps might not be as inspired by a 77-year-old senior statesman.
She's a vibrant, younger voice who represents tomorrow's America and the diversity of the country.
If Joe Biden and Kamala Harris win the presidency and the vice presidency, that means there will be an open Senate seat here in California, and the decision of who fills that seat will be left to Governor Gavin Newsom. While President Trump authorized an additional $400 a week if states contributed 25% of the money, Governor Gavin Newsom says California can't afford to pay that. Today, we spoke to those struggling to get by here in San Diego. Cheyenne Sales says she's been getting by on $86 a week since May. The CARES Act set aside pandemic unemployment assistance for people who traditionally weren't qualified to get unemployment benefits. Because Sales has a part-time job at a golf course, she was only qualified to get money on the very small amount of income she earned on her W-2.
We would not qualify for anything. $86 a week for a job that's not coming back for over a year through no fault of my own is scary, because I don't know how we are going to live.
California's Employment Development Department has distributed $59.8 billion in benefits since the pandemic began. A record low number of cases reported today. 182 out of more than 5,000 tests came out positive. That puts us at the 3% positivity rate. The last time we were below 200 new cases was June 22nd. In total, there are 33,157 cases. 8 more San Diegans have died, though, bringing the total to 602. All right, so a mini revolt took place in Ocean Beach today after the city put up a mesh fence to prevent large gatherings. Councilmember Jen Campbell planned a news conference to announce stepped-up enforcement measures, which included the mesh fence, until residents tore it down. The fence was intended to prevent large gatherings after complaints of people not wearing masks or social distancing. Campbell had this to say about the matter.
I'm telling everybody who loves to congregate here, behave or you're going to be in big trouble.
The city plans to have a compliance team at the park tomorrow. It will be an effort to educate people who may be violating public health orders. Preparing for some hot days ahead, Dagmar joins us next with your Wednesday forecast right after this quick break.
NBC7's Nightly Check-In is sponsored by Bill Howe Plumbing, Heating and Air, Flood and Restoration.
Call 1-800-BILL-HOWE. Bill Howe. We know how.
Time for a new water heater? Call Bill Howe, San Diego's most trusted plumber since 1980. So whether you are looking at a traditional tank or a tankless water heater, you know who to call.
Call 1-800-BILL-HOWE. Bill Howe. Because
We know how.
Looking at your Wednesday, you will continue to feel the warm-up that you've already begun to feel on your Tuesday. So your Wednesday today, you are ending up feeling temperatures with partly cloudy, gradually clearing skies, pushing into the upper 70s along the beaches. Now, on average, you will be in the upper 80s and low 90s for the inland valleys, seeing that low 90 mark, low 90s, I stress, for the mountain territories. So elevations of 4,000 feet, you're seeing the low 90s, and you have a ways to go yet. Deserts, you're also dealing with the 110 to 115 mark. We have excessive heat warnings on the way as well. I'll let you know more about that this coming work week. The warm-up has begun.
For local comedy clubs, trying to stay open during this pandemic is no laughing matter, because despite moving operations outdoors, the American Comedy Company downtown, the Comedy Palace in Kearny Mesa, and the Comedy Store in La Jolla all closed their doors over the weekend after a visit from police. Entertainment venues are not one of the businesses being allowed to operate outdoors under current state guidelines. The managers at the club say they're wondering what separates them from churches and gyms.
So we don't understand why we need to close. We followed every protocol. What part can we use to perform live entertainment and bring laughs to people in a very needed time?
Police said the venues can operate as restaurants, but can't have live entertainment. Police did not force the clubs to close. They said they only will educate business owners on public health orders, and it's up to the health department to actually issue a cease and desist order. So no one has ever denied the power of pets, and now we are learning just how much our pets have helped us deal with this pandemic. Nearly 1,400 adult pet owners took part in a new Harris Poll survey. All right, so when asked who they would choose to quarantine with, a pet or their spouse, 44% of women chose their pet, and nearly half of the men chose their spouse. 83% said spending time with their pet improved their mood more than their significant other. All right, no comment. Well, have you been thinking about getting a pet? I mean, after that last story, it's quite an endorsement, right? Well, NBC7 and Telemundo 20 have teamed up to help clear the shelters across the county. We are doing a month-long Adopt and Donate campaign. Here's just one of the many animals looking for their forever home. This is Carl. Carl is a 1-year-old Chihuahua mix. He is small, only 6 pounds, and is being cared for by the Chihuahua Rescue of San Diego County. For more information you can head to our community page, that is nbc7.com/community. Okay, so before we sign off, sports fans, be sure to check out a bonus episode of the On Fire podcast. Derek and Darnay discuss how Padres star player Fernando Tatis Jr. has elevated his game and his stardom. That'll do it for our nightly check-in. Have a great night. I'm Mari Payton.